I'm Sophia, 26 years old, living in a small apartment in a loud, bright city full of lights and noise. My apartment is quiet, sometimes too quiet, like it's holding its breath. I work as a waitress at a little Italian restaurant, and the job is hard. My feet ache after every shift, but Mr. Rossi, the owner, is kind, like a father, always with a warm smile that makes the long hours a bit easier. My life isn't what I dreamed it would be. I made a terrible mistake, a huge one. I married Daniel, and now I cry almost every day, regretting that I ever said yes to him. I wish I could go back and choose differently. Before Daniel, my life was simpler, not perfect, but okay. I shared a small apartment with my best friend Clara. We didn't have much money, but we had each other. We laughed a lot, splitting cheap dinners and dreaming about the future. I worked at the restaurant, and Clara had a job at a clothing shop. On weekends, we'd go to the park with sandwiches or stay in to watch old movies, giggling over popcorn. I felt content, though sometimes a little lonely, wondering if I'd ever find love. I had a small dream, to save enough money for a cooking course. I love cooking, chopping vegetables, stirring sauces, seeing people smile when they taste my food. It's the one thing that's always felt like mine. My family lives far away in a quiet village, and they worry about me being alone in the big city. My mom would call and say, "Sophia, are you meeting anyone nice? You're 25, it's time to settle down." Her words made me feel like I was letting her down, like being single was a failure. I'd laugh it off, but deep down it stung, like I wasn't doing life right. Then I met Daniel. He came into the restaurant one night with a group of loud friends. He was handsome, dark hair, bright blue eyes, and a big, confident smile that made my heart skip. He asked my name when I took their order, saying, "Sophia, that's beautiful." I blushed, feeling shy but noticed. After that, he started coming to the restaurant alone, sitting at my tables, asking about my day, telling silly jokes. He was charming, so charming, and he made me feel special, like I was more than just a waitress. He'd say things like, "You're too good for this place, Sophia. You deserve better. A nice house, travel, an easier life." His words painted a picture of a world I'd never dared to dream of, far from sore feet and worrying about rent. One night he asked me out. I was nervous, my hands sweaty, but I said yes. Our first date was simple but perfect. We went to a quiet park and he brought sandwiches. We sat on a bench and he listened as I talked about my family, my village, my dream of cooking school. He held my hand and it felt exciting, like the start of something big. We started dating, and everything happened so fast. Too fast, I see now. After just a month, he told me he loved me. He said he wanted to marry me, to take care of me, that I wouldn't have to work anymore. He promised a beautiful life together, and I was overwhelmed. Part of me was scared. Did he really love me? Did I love him? It was so quick. But another part of me felt hopeful, like this could be the love my mom wanted for me, the chance for an easier life. Clara liked him too, saying, "He's great, Sophia. He really likes you." So I pushed my doubts aside, ignoring the quiet voice in my head whispering, "Slow down." I wanted to believe in the fairy tale Daniel offered. I wanted to make my mom proud, to stop feeling like I was falling behind. So I said yes to his proposal. We got married 3 months later in a small ceremony at City Hall. My parents came, and my mom cried happy tears, hugging Daniel and saying, "Take care of my Sophia." He smiled his confident smile and promised he would. He looked handsome in his suit, and I tried to feel only joy, but there was a small knot of worry in my stomach. I told myself it was just wedding day nerves, nothing more. I was wrong. After the wedding, we moved into Daniel's apartment, bigger and in a fancier part of the city. At first, things seemed okay. He was still charming, especially around other people, buying me nice things, a dress, some perfume. he told me I didn't need to work at the restaurant anymore. "You're my wife now," he said. "Your job is to take care of our home." I quit my job, even though I missed Mr. Rossi and the familiar rhythm of the restaurant. I told myself this was better, the easier life Daniel promised. I started cooking meals for Daniel, cleaning the apartment, trying to make it feel like our home. But it never felt like mine. It was his place, and I was just living in it. Slowly, the Daniel I dated disappeared. When we were alone, his smile faded. He got annoyed easily, sighing if dinner wasn't ready the moment he walked in or snapping, "Can't you handle this one thing, Sophia?" His words were like tiny cuts, small but painful. He didn't like me talking to my friends. When Clara called, he'd roll his eyes and say, "Why do you need her? You have me now." He made me feel guilty for wanting my own connections, so I started calling her less. I felt isolated, cut off from the people who made me feel like me. He also dismissed my dream of a cooking course. When I brought it up, he laughed. "A cooking course? Why waste money? You cook fine for me here." It hurt, not just because he mocked cooking, but because he didn't care about my dream, a piece of who I am. He started controlling the money, giving me a small amount each, weak for groceries and demanding receipts for every penny. I felt like a child, not a partner. If I asked for a little extra, like for new shoes because mine were worn out, he'd complain about expenses. But he'd buy himself expensive things, a new watch, fancy gadgets, without a second thought. It wasn't fair, and it didn't feel like a marriage. The loneliness grew heavier. Daniel often worked late, or so he said. Sometimes he came home, smelling of perfume that wasn't mine. When I asked about it, he got angry, saying, "Are you accusing me? Don't you trust your husband?" He turned it around, making me feel wrong for asking, so I stopped. But the suspicion lingered, cold and heavy. Most nights I ate dinner alone in our big, nice apartment. I'd look around at the clean rooms, the furniture he picked, and it looked perfect from the outside. But inside, I felt empty, like a ghost in my own life. The quiet I used to enjoy in my old apartment now felt suffocating. I started crying a lot, silently, in the bathroom or late at night when Daniel was asleep, snoring beside me, unaware of my tears. I cried for the life I thought I'd have, for the simple joy I had with Clara, for my cooking course dream that felt impossible now. Most of all, I cried because I knew I'd made a terrible mistake. I regretted saying yes to Daniel, regretted marrying a man who didn't truly see me or love me. This wasn't an easier life. It was harder, filled with sadness and regret. Living with regret is like carrying heavy stones every day. I woke up each morning with a heavy heart, cleaning the silent apartment, waiting for Daniel, trying to guess his mood to avoid arguments. I learned to walk on eggshells, predicting what might annoy him, keeping the apartment spotless, having dinner ready on time. I tried to be the quiet, agreeable wife he wanted, but it was exhausting. Pretending to be okay, smiling when I wanted to cry, saying, "Yes, dear," when I wanted to scream. It felt like I was losing myself. Who was Sophia? I didn't recognize the sad, quiet woman in the mirror. The girl who laughed with Clara, who dreamed of cooking beautiful food, felt so far away. I tried talking to Daniel once when he seemed in a better mood. I said, "Daniel, I feel lonely sometimes. Maybe we could spend more time together, talk more." He looked up from his phone, annoyed. "Lonely? You have everything. A nice home, food, clothes. What more do you want? Stop complaining, Sophia." His words crushed me. He didn't understand, didn't want to. My feelings didn't matter. Only his comfort did. After that, I stopped trying to talk to him. What was the point? It only led to anger or dismissal. I missed Clara so much. One afternoon when Daniel was out, I called her. Her cheerful voice nearly broke me. "Sophia, how are you? I miss you." she said. I wanted to tell her everything. How unhappy I was, how I regretted marrying Daniel. But shame stopped me. What would she think? That I was foolish for rushing into marriage? So I lied, saying, "It's good, Clara. Daniel's fine. We're fine." We talked about small things, and I hung up quickly, feeling worse for lying to my best friend. It made me feel even more alone. The only thing that helped was cooking. When Daniel was out, I'd experiment with recipes, baking bread, making pasta from scratch. The focus calmed my mind, and the familiar actions felt like a hug from my old self. One day, I baked too many chocolate chip cookies, my favorite, and on impulse, I took a plate to Mr. Rossi at the restaurant. I hadn't been back since I quit, and I was nervous walking in. His face lit up. "Sophia, Bella, how are you?" He hugged me like a daughter, and I nearly cried. I gave him the cookies, and he took a bite, saying, "Magnifico! You have a gift, Sophia. Why aren't you cooking?" We talked, and when I left, he held my hand and said, "If you ever need anything, come to me. My door is always open." His kindness felt like a lifeline. Walking home, I cried again, but these tears were different. They were gratitude for Mr. Rossi's warmth and anger at myself for being stuck in this life. Why did I say yes to Daniel? Why did I give up my job, my independence, my dreams for a life that felt like a cage? I thought about leaving him many times, imagining packing a bag and walking out. But where would I go? I had no job, no savings. Daniel controlled all the money. Could I go back to my parents? They'd be disappointed, thinking I had a good life. The shame of a failed marriage felt huge. What would people say? And the scariest thought, could I make it on my own again after feeling so small and dependent? I wasn't sure, so I stayed, baking in secret, crying alone. Every day felt the same. Wake up heavy-hearted, clean, wait for Daniel, avoid fights, eat alone, cry, sleep, repeat. It wasn't living, just existing. But then I got braver. I went to Mr. Rossi and asked if I could sell my baking at his restaurant on weekends, just a small table by the door. He said yes right away. Of course. Sophia, people will love them. I was so nervous that first Saturday. I baked all night, lemon tarts, chocolate cookies, apple cakes, and set them up on a little table. I didn't tell Daniel. He'd never approve. I just said I was meeting a friend. People bought my baking, smiling, saying, "This is delicious." By the end of the day, I'd sold almost everything. The small amount of money in my hand felt huge. It was mine, earned by my work, my love for baking. I opened a secret bank account at a different bank from Daniel's and put my earnings there. It was my escape fund, my hope fund. Having this secret, this tiny piece of independence, started to change me. I still cried sometimes, still felt regret, but I didn't feel as helpless. I had something Daniel couldn't control or dismiss. Each Saturday I baked, sold, and saved, feeling a bit stronger, a bit more like Sophia. One Saturday, Daniel came home early and saw my baking supplies. "Where were you?" he asked, his voice sharp. I took a deep breath and told the truth. I was at Mr. Rossi's restaurant, selling my baking on Saturdays. His face darkened and he shouted, "You did what? Without asking me? You're ungrateful, embarrassing me." In the past, I'd have apologized, cried, backed down. But this time I stood tall. My voice shook, but I said, "Daniel, I need this. I love baking, and people like what I make. I'm not embarrassing anyone." He was stunned, expecting me to crumble. Then he sneered, "Fine, play your little games, but don't cry to me when you fail." He stormed out, but he didn't. Stop me. Maybe he thought I'd give up, but I didn't. I kept baking, selling, saving. Each week, I felt a little more like myself. The regret didn't go away. I still wished I'd never married Daniel. never ignored my doubts, never traded my simple, content life for this empty cage. But now, regret wasn't just a weight, it was a fire, pushing me to find my way again, reminding me never to silence my own voice or dreams for someone else's promises. Leaving Daniel still feels scary. My savings are small, and I don't know if I can make it alone. But the thought doesn't freeze me like it used to. It feels possible. Hard, but possible. I cry less now, and some days I laugh, especially when a customer says my cookies are the best they've ever had. My life is still tough, but it's mine again, slowly coming back. If you're listening and feel trapped in a life you regret, know that your feelings are real. It hurts to realize you made a mistake, especially a big one like marriage. It's okay to feel sad, angry, scared. But don't lose hope. Look for small things that bring you joy, things that are yours. A hobby, a friend, a secret savings jar. Find kindness where you can, like I did with Mr. Rossi. Take one tiny step, just one. You're stronger than you feel right now. Your story isn't over, and regret doesn't have to be the end. Keep going. You deserve happiness. And it's out there, even if it starts with something as small as baking cookies.